Well, I first heard the songs at the rehearsal that I went to go check you guys out at. So it was a different experience than hearing them on the recording, because it's always like a little different. And I try my best to like make that the same. But I remember sitting in the rehearsal and I was like super into it, because a lot of I don't want to be like, oh, you guys are like a retro band.
We are.
A little bit, but a lot of what I like is that, and like stems from that, but with like modern ideas thrown in there, modern pop tendencies thrown in there, and I really kind of attached onto that, and I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to make sure that when we finally got around to recording it, that there was a little bit of vibe, but I didn't want to be like too on the nose. I still wanted to like have that pop mentality. Yeah, because I think that's cool. Like I think a lot of the people that I work with that I'm most excited about and happy to work with and hope to continue to work with, they're always people that do some type of like era specific thing. It doesn't always have to be like way back, but some type of very era specific thing that like makes you kind of like reminiscent about some time, but then also there's like a pop influence that's put on it. Because like at my core, at my heart, like I'm still like, I love good pop music.
Yeah.
You know, I think we all do. And if that's done well, that merging is always super exciting.
Hey Trevor, it's day one. Day one.
Ultraviolet community.
Day one.
Here at the studio, playing our first song that we're gonna record, Moon.
Compared to like the last time we did, it was almost like we were very self-reliant on each other for a lot of things. So it was easy to kind of be like, well, is this the right thing, you know? And like only having to bounce ideas off of each other became kind of exhausting at a certain point. So it was nice to be in here, like doing a take of a song, and then you'd have Josh be like, yeah, that one sucked, do it again. You know what I mean? Or something where it was just like, you know what, yeah, that,
vernacular.
Even if we didn't feel like it sucked, it was like,
Yeah.
well, I guess we'll do it again. You know, I guess it wasn't good enough. It wasn't as good as we thought. So it was nice to have an outside voice sort of like propel us in to try different things or to do things again. Just because, you know, I think it helped us hone in on things that we guess might not have been privy to if it was just us.
What do you think there, old buddy?
Well, I enjoy that. A good planning.
Good plan?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Cool. I think it can be beat.
Cool. Let's do it again.
You know, with another solid pass. But
I thought that was pretty good. The only thing I would want to do is go from the last chorus to the end.
okay.
Because the transition to the bridge, there was like one little hiccup.
Okay. On the ride.
Something, yeah.
I
Like
missed
dropped
it.
tempo or something.
Okay.
Or like something happened.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it was, but I heard something happen there. It was the only hiccup I heard.
I feel like I missed a ride.
It's almost like performing more, you know, because it's not just for everybody, you know, the people that hear it all the time. It's somebody else. I don't know, personally, when there's somebody else around, I always maybe try to play a little bit better than I would if it were just me.
If the vibe is right, yeah. Like
right.
sometimes if there's somebody else in the room or you're working with somebody where you don't really vibe with, like you'll be like, man, at least for me anyways, I'm like, man, I'm like putting this dude out.
Sure.
Get home, you know, whatever, like, but yeah, totally get that.
Yeah, but it was super easy. At least I could probably speak for all of us. We were just hanging out, basically recording songs with another guy.
Oh, it's a real joy.
Yeah.
Mixing process was sweet too.
Yeah, it was
You
also
could
good.
sit there.
Yeah, I thought that was even...
What were some of the highlights for you during the tracking process?
Tracking vocals. Yeah, that was a fun one, and mixing. The whole process was fun, but it was really fun to like, because most sessions you put up a vocal mic that you think is going to work, and you kind of make it work for everything. It's usually like pretty good. Like one of my favorites is a U87. I know that's a very polarizing microphone for a lot of people, but I always think a U87 works on most people, and most of the time that's what I'll use. And we did use it on this. I don't remember.
Very seldom, like on Palinopsia, I think.
Yeah, only a couple times, but you know, it was fun to like pull out some of the older ribbon mics or some of the wackier dynamic mics, like the ones you were holding and stuff. Where I was like, yeah, just eat the mic. It's supposed to be kind of like intense and in your face.
Yeah.
And it was just fun, like hearing all those differences, being like, yeah, this is like basically done. Because that's how I like to record, anyways. Is where it's just like the tracking process should be basically what you want the final product to be, just a little rough, like a little hairy and around the edges or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when we got around to mixing, it all kind of just fell into place because we had paid so much attention to that stuff. All the way down the line, not just vocals, like all the way down the line we paid attention to it. And that's why like mixing was fun too, because it was just like, you could focus more on automation and like making sure the songs had movement, which is like what you should focus on in a mix. You shouldn't be like worrying about what the snare drum EQ is or something, you know, like that's never any fun. But yeah, being able to like decide on like, yeah, like we should, you know, have it do this here and you know, this should, you know, change. We should have a scene change here, like have an effect come in here. So that stuff was really cool. So yeah, vocals and mixing.
This one too? So Day 12. Day 12. And the last one, not really. It's been day 3 and 5.
Hey, buddy. Yeah. It was kind of cool. I didn't like the precision bass.
Yeah.
Couldn't resist. It's good.
That was
Yeah. Cool.
That was fantastic.
You like that? It was like right on cue too.
How does this record and the songs differ from the last record? So many ways.
They're completely different.
They're very completely different. But in a way, I think it's just kind of like a step in a different, not necessarily different, just like a new evolution of the sound. Because we've been playing together longer and kind of figured out different things that we wanted to try. It felt less safe, a little more ambitious this time around. I feel like a lot of the songs and the arrangement choices and the sonic choices were more ambitious than the first record.
Mildly more indulgent.
Yeah, mildly more indulgent.
It evolved.
Yeah.
I think you know, there's a good evolution between the first one and the second one.
Yeah.
They're both fun, but there's like a very clear, you're trying to do something.
Yeah.
You know,
Less pop, more rock.
Yeah, it was really just kind of a step in another direction, just for me, musically. We had the opportunity to track that piano and the B3, and I never really sat down and played a real B3 before, so it was almost like I had to kind of learn how to get it to sound the way I wanted it to, but also be like, know the parts that I was going to play on it. It was cool because it was another layer, and we hadn't really done that before in any song. It was something that wasn't necessarily like, this is going to change the track entirely. It was just like a fun little ear candy. This is for the record only sort of thing. I also, I love playing the piano. Piano is my first instrument, so getting to play it on anything is always a good time for me. And then there's some Glock, I think.
Oh yeah, there was some fun little percussion elements.
Bongos too.
Bongo drums, yeah. A couple, 3 songs, 2-3 songs. It was fun. Yeah, I enjoy, you know, like you said, a little ear candy for something we might not be able to do live, physically live. It's nice.
Yeah.
And then I guess a random improvised question for you. What was it like tracking the organ and the piano and you know, the bongos, the block. What was that like?
I mean, organ and piano, any excuse, especially the organ. I have a buddy that has a B3, and that's where we went. We went to his house. But yeah, any excuse to like track a B3 like is just awesome because it's such a unique sounding instrument. I mean, there's a ton of obviously like plug-in versions or digital versions. They're all great too. But like you were saying, like with the real one, like you have to get it right because you can't go and adjust the speed later. Like whatever you switched it, as the sound, whatever you dialed in the tone wheel for is like what we got.
And I really liked it. I think it was so cool to just be able to sit there and like, okay, this is the sound, and like it's mechanical. It's like it's not like you're automating the speed or something or adjusting it to the time. It's
you hear it whirling.
You hear it whirling up. You can almost hear the click of the switch of the speed when I'm hitting it at the right moment, and it's got to be at the right moment or it didn't sound right. And that was great. And then piano too is just great because it's just such an old, timeless instrument in a way. So,
the one John has too is interesting. Like we had it tuned up, and it's like a cool dark sound.
Yeah.
It was a cool little dark piano.
Yeah.
It was nice to record. Good colors.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Good sounds for sure.
Looking back, would you have done anything differently? Tracking anything?
That's a dangerous question. 'Cause the answer is always sure.
Yeah.
Especially just as a guy that makes records or tries to. I always tell, like, it's something I always tell people that intern or assist me too. I'm like, hey, like, there's a lot of early stuff that I've got out there that's floating around that isn't great, but you just kind of have to, like, remember you did the best you could at the time and chalk it up to charm. Because otherwise you'll get stuck, and, like, I've had periods of time where I didn't go out and seek gigs. Because it was like, I'm not good enough, or you tell yourself you're not good enough. So going down that road of like, what would you do different? It's fine as long as you understand that it would just make it different. And you can't let yourself think like, oh, it would have been better.
Yeah.
Because that'll like ruin and derail your career, and you'll never want to do anything ever again. So tricky road. Sure. I don't know specifics because we will be here all day, but I don't hate anything, or I don't like listen to the record and be like, oh man,
yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm happy with what we did.
The guitar was poo-poo, but I knew that from the beginning. And I was like, I don't know, this one feels okay, so I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah. Which is why I started doing silly stuff.
Yeah.
I figure when I start doing silly stuff to it, usually it has more spark. We have more fun.